Welcome to another episode of Al-Nafs podcast with me, Rada Alwan.
And me, Naba Al Madani. Today we are joined by Rana Jawad, a talented bespoke fashion designer, well known for crafting one-of-a-kind wedding dresses and elegant, modest evening wear. With passion for craftsmanship and attention to details, Rana offers a personalized experience, ensuring each piece reflects the unique style and personality of the wearer.
Welcome,
Rana.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Good.
Not too bad, thank you.
Rana, can we start by congratulating you?
Yes, you can.
Congratulations. We know you just got married.
It's been a month to the day, almost.
Well done. Wow.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Obviously, we're going to talk about your amazing work.
Thank you.
And we know that you made your own wedding dress.
Oh, yes, I did.
And your bridesmaids.
Yeah, well, yeah, I had my mum helping me because it was too much work. We had 8 weeks to get it all done in.
Wow.
8 weeks.
So it was chaotic.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazing. Can we just start off by asking you where you grew up?
hmm
And so where did you grow up? Did you grow up here or back home?
So it's across both. So I was
Mhm.
born in Iraq, in Baghdad.
Okay.
And then I moved to Jordan when I was 8 with my family.
Okay.
And then we moved to the UK when I was around 10.
Okay, so 2 years in Jordan.
2 years in Jordan.
Okay.
And then here when I was 10. We moved around quite a bit in the UK, but we settled in Milton Keynes in 2001 when I was around 12.
Okay.
So yeah, and then we've been there ever since, really.
Right. And being from Baghdad,
hmm
did that have any impact on who you became today?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think
Okay.
mum and dad were very proud to be Arab and to be Iraqi.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of like my influences, whether it was like music and TV and food and everything, is very like we're very proud to be who we are and our history. We've got very rich history in Iraq,
We do.
Yes,
so
we
we're
do.
very proud of that. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Do you feel at any point your identity was lost here in the UK?
I wouldn't say lost. I think it was it's I'd like to say that when I was in my teens, I think it was as any teenager, you would want to blend into the community and with your
Yes.
friends and everything. I'm like that. I'm quite white passing, so I didn't stand out too much.
Okay.
But then when September the 11th happened, that really put like a magnifying glass on me.
Mm-hmm.
So and I was in a very like white area in a very white school, so that was very difficult. I went through some bullying, some racism. And then when I moved to a more, let's say, like diverse school, it was easier. So I think back to your question, I think it's kind of juggling those, like you are proud of who you are, but you also want to blend in at the same time.
Yeah.
So having to do those two things is very hard as a teen.
Yeah.
But yeah, luckily, like in my late teens, I found a really good group of friends who are like-minded, who are from different backgrounds. So you're able to celebrate yourself and, you know, enjoy being who you are and actually just being proud of who you are. So, yeah,
That sounds lovely.
It does.
How did it make you feel?
which part?
The whole, obviously, September the 11th and feel that you were slightly secluded.
It was horrid. Like, I remember I used to get stomach aches. I used to not want to go to school. It was really horrible. And, yeah, and I think it was just very like as a teen it was very hard and you don't really understand these things I was 12 when that happened, so I was like, why is it me that's getting all this backlash from I don't know it. I remember one of the kids asked me, is my uncle Osama bin Laden, and I was like, how I should have said yes, actually he is. but yeah, you know.
But this is it. Kids don't think. They hear what their parents or society say and they believe we're all one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You get you're blamed for like something happened miles away and nothing to do with you, but it's your fault. Like how?
Yeah, and this is something that we're all experiencing
Yeah.
Absolutely.
on a regular basis. We get blamed for everything that happens in the Middle East,
Absolutely.
and it's got nothing to do with us.
Yeah. But
constant.
how was it at home as well? Because I'm sure your parents, because they,
Mm.
from my understanding, they're both academics.
Yes.
So how did that affect them?
I don't think it was as bad. At work, I think everyone's because when you're an adult, you're better at explaining things and talking things through. And I think in that environment, especially in Buckingham University, there's a lot of diversity in the university. So I think that made it a little bit easier. But I think obviously it was very stressful because then the Iraq War happened and mum and dad were glued to the TV 24/7 because we couldn't get hold of our family. There's another added layer of like stress and, just complete and utter anxiety because you couldn't call them, you couldn't get hold of them. So you had to just glue to the TV looking for the news. So that was a very hard time to go through, to be fair.
So you witnessed your parents, basically, their traumas.
Absolutely.
And that must have had a massive impact on you.
It was a huge impact. And I think it kind of like made me like take a step back and then think I hated the news. I literally I didn't want to watch the news. It was on 24/7 on TV. And I was like, I need a break from it. So, yeah, it was very hard.
And do you think that made you hold on to your culture more than, especially the Iraq War, I think, if I take you to the Iraq War, the second Gulf War, sorry. Did that make you hold on to your culture more?
Because for some people, it pushes them away. People are like, I've had some friends saying, I'm embarrassed to be Iraqi or I'm embarrassed to be an Arab. It's just that they wanted to just blend in and hide in the background.
I think it's having to kind of balance those two things. At home, like, we're very proud to be who we are. At school, it was a bit more like, okay, I need to kind of be more mindful of what I say and how I say it and what I do and what I don't. So, and I think when in the early teen, I didn't really have any Arab friends at school. I had one that was like half English, half Arab, but we weren't very close. We got closer at the end of school years. So I had mostly like English friends. So I had to kind of like hide that part of me kind of a little away. But yeah.
That's really interesting. Because for me, for example, that was the tipping point for me. The second Gulf War was where I held on to my culture. I was like, no, I am Iraqi. My people are dying. And this is an unfair war. And not in my name.
I feel like I've blocked that part out for a little bit. Because I don't remember like how I was acting. I did talk about it. I remember we went back in 2003 to visit. And
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because we hadn't seen them for like 7 or 8 years.
Okay.
So, and we just wanted to see everyone. So we went back for a visit and I was like, okay. And I remember it being very like, I was very scared to go home, but I wanted to go home. So it was like kind of balancing those two feelings. So we had to go to Jordan, we had to get a car to Baghdad. And that was the whole, and then on the way there, you see like all the electric poles had been knocked down and like, it was just, and you can see potholes from the walls and stuff, the bombs and stuff. So it was like, okay, it was kind of like making it more real. Because I mean, when we were living in Iraq, when I was there was a war, but I was very young. I don't remember the details of it. I was like 3.
Okay.
But going back this time around, you can hear like gunshots. You can hear bombs in the background. But they're far away, but you can still hear them.
Yeah.
So we were just like, we went to see family, and it did make me feel, okay, I'm home. I'm so excited to see everybody. So we had like most of all my cousins, my parents' cousins all lived there, and we grew up around them. So it was very weird to be away from them here because we didn't have that family connection. I had one friend here that was kind of like a family friend, but no, like we had some family, but they were spread around the UK. In Milton Keynes, we didn't really have many people around us. So being around family again, it was like, oh my God, like it was such a nice feeling. But going back, like, oh, okay, back to reality. So yeah. But I think holding on to like, I think that did kind of revive, like, no, I'm Arab, I'm Iraqi. I love my culture, and I don't think this is fair what's happening. But it's just having to see like your country being destroyed, and then pretending that's fine. Well, not pretending that's fine, but like having to be okay with it. It's like, no, it's not okay.
No, it's not. No.
It's what it is.
So, what makes you most angry at this moment in time? I mean, if there was one thing that you can change in society, it could be how kids are growing up, or it could be how how the world's changing. What makes you the most angriest and makes you most passionate?
I think just seeing the hypocrisy. Like, it's one rule for us, one rule for them. That really drives me up the wall. And just how it's portrayed in the news. Like, it's one... Oh, there are so many layers to this. But I think seeing how it's okay for Israel to just do whatever it likes. And then when it comes to Arabs or Muslims, with the magnifying glass, and then everything that anyone does is portrayed, and we have to condemn everyone. It's like, why? What about their behavior? What about what they've been doing? So it's a double-edged sword.
It is, and it's a challenging time for all of us.
Absolutely.
But let's talk about some fun stuff.
Yeah.
Why are you passionate about what you do?
Oh, I think I just love what I do. I really love what I do. And I think working on my recent project, so I did a project recently called Modesty Unraveled, where it's about women's like freedom of expression and dress. So I did like research on women in the Middle East and women in the UK. And I looked at how their right of expression is infringed on. For example, like in Iran, women are forced to wear the hijab, whereas in the UK, you get backlash, or you do get backlash for wearing the hijab, or get scrutiny for wearing the hijab. For example, like in France, you can't wear the hijab at school and university. So I wanted to shine a light on that and just highlight that women should have the freedom to express and dress in however they want to dress. Whether you want to wear it or you don't want to wear it, or if you're wearing it, you want to take it off. It's your bodily autonomy. You'll be able to decide what you want to do, and you shouldn't have to face like backlash for doing that. So I did focus groups and I did interviews that were on display at my exhibition. My exhibition was open for a month in July, which is really exciting. And then from the research...
Sorry. How did that make you feel having your own exhibition?
It was so cool. I loved it. I mean, I had one previously in 2022, but it was smaller. This was more like, it had a lot more elements to it. Wow. So it was really fun. So I did, I got some funding for it from ACE, which is really amazing.
Fantastic.
And yeah, so I got a photographer to record the interviews, and they were on display at the exhibition. And then I used all the research to inspire like a new collection. And they were all, I created one of the garments that I designed, and then all the others were just like full life-size sketches. And they were on display at the exhibition. So it was really, really fun. It was very stressful, but fun. But yeah, and then I did, what else did I do? I did like a timeline of, in history, since 1900 to this day, of basically how women's rights have been infringed on with regards to the modesty and hijab. So yeah, that was really cool.
Wow.
And actually this was all kind of inspired by, well, not inspired, but I was had it in the back of my mind, but it kind of triggered it. The Mahsa Amini situation triggered it really, and I thought, okay, no, I need to highlight what's been happening and really showcase that this is not okay. Yeah.
Well done.
Thanks.
So I know for a fact that you're very talented as an artist. What made you choose this career path?
Oh, so my mum taught me how to sew when I was really, really young. So her mum taught her, and her mum taught her. So like a whole line of us. So my mum and my auntie used to have like full-time jobs when we were living in Iraq, and they used to come home and make dresses as a side hustle. Because at the time there were lots of what's the word I'm looking for? Not restrictions. on Iraq, sanctions on Iraq.
Yes.
So it was hard to like live on just a normal salary. So it forced mum and my sister to kind of find a side hustle to work and create. So they used to create dresses in the evening while after work. So that I loved watching them do that. And then they taught me how to sew when I was very young. And so I used to make dresses for my Barbies. That's how much I loved sewing.
Oh, that's so cute.
I know.
How old were you?
I don't know, 8, longer. So yeah. So when we moved to the UK, obviously, like mum always had continued her love for making dresses, and she used to make her clothes and all sorts. So it kind of inspired. So I was thought in my stuff now, I'm definitely going to work in fashion some sort of way. Like I remember when I was in my teens, I'd wake up and like I'd have a burning like idea in my head, and I have to get up and draw it. So like I wake up like on a weekend, like okay, I need to get this idea out. I have to sketch it out. So yeah, and I think that was kind of my ammo, I guess, to get going. And I loved art and I loved fashion. I mean, I did take a slight detour because I did psychology for my undergrad.
Okay.
But halfway through, I was like, oh, I should have done fashion. So I started like a clothing line with a friend of mine, like a streetwear line.
Nice.
But then we kind of outgrew it, and I thought, so I knew how to sew, but there was like a link missing. So I did a short course on pattern cutting at London School of Fashion, and then that kind of like opened up everything. So, okay, now I can do everything that I want. Because before I could make a dress, if I have a pattern for it, I can make it. But I don't know how to make a pattern for it. Whereas now I could do whatever I liked. So, and then I did my masters, and then I found the
Masters in
design, innovation, fashion.
wow.
Amazing.
So yeah, that was really cool.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I really love that. And then so then after that, I found an investor for my business, and had a launch for it. So yeah, and here we are.
Done. It's amazing. Can I ask you, because your parents are both academic, did
Yes.
they not tell you, from our background, it's you're either a doctor or a lawyer, or did they not want you to be either or?
Luckily, mum and dad are very like open-minded, and they just wanted us to be happy. And I think also mum is an academic, she's also an architect.
Yeah.
So she was able to follow her creative path.
Mhm.
So when she always said, when I was younger, I had the grace to go into medicine, but it just wasn't for me. Like I didn't like medicine, and I loved art and loved architecture. That was her path. So she's an architect by day, and then a fashion designer by night. So yeah,
So what would you say was the most significant turning point for you? What?
definitely the pattern cutting course. Because before that, I was kind of thinking, I want to do it, but I don't know how to do it.
Okay.
So the pattern cutting course really opened up like a whole line of things. I thought, okay, now I can actually, any idea that comes to mind, I can now create it. But before, I'd be limited to like what I can find online and magazines. But with the pattern cutting course, I was like, okay, now if I make if I want to make a really crazy design, I can do it. So yeah.
Amazing. And so we come to your wedding dress.
Yeah.
But before that,
Mhm.
did you create a dress for someone close to you in the family
Yes, my sister. So
for her wedding?
Yeah. She got married 2 years ago. But my God, that was that's another rush. I think I did her dress in 3 weeks.
Wow. 3 weeks.
3 weeks. It was a really mad rush.
I'm guessing there was no bridesmaids for that one.
Thank God, no. No, that would have been really chaotic. So we had. Also, I had my Queen of Kings project that I did in 2022.
Okay, hold on.
We need to talk about that.
Okay. Oh, now or later.
No, we'll do that later. Let's concentrate on your sisters first.
So I had that. I was really busy with that up until I think it was June,
Okay.
and then Rilla got married in July.
Okay.
So no, was it June? I think it was like May, June for the Jubilee.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Rilla got engaged, and then it was like planning the wedding, and when is it going to be? Is it going to be this month, next month? And then she found a venue, and then we had to find the fabric for her dress and get all underway. And that took a while with delays. So anyway, we finally got it. So I had 3 weeks from when the fabric came to the deadline of the wedding.
But you designed it before that.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
guessing. Oh, okay.
But the design doesn't take that long. The making is the longest part.
Okay.
because designing, I mean, I usually have an idea and I can work with the client. Like, okay, what do you want? This? Do you want that? What kind of adjustments do you want to make to the design? But then when you move on to like the making, that's the most time consuming part. So I had 3 weeks from like fabric arrival to the wedding.
That's amazing.
So it was just chaos.
Just for the people that like myself who are like not really into dressmaking, how long does it normally take to custom make a wedding dress? I mean, if you look
I'd like to give myself 6 months for the process because it does take a while. I mean, depending on the design,
of course,
but yeah, it's like on average, I think because you have to do fittings. I mean, luckily she lived at home with me, so it was fun for her to just kind of whenever I need, I'm gonna do the fitting. But have the process in general does take a while, and then you've got to like account for the lace work, and you've got to account for because the lace because what I do is I cut out the lace and I stitch it on by hand myself.
wow, okay,
So that all takes a long
time
time.
consuming.
Luckily, Willa's dress wasn't as like lacy. It just had the main like the lace bodice. That took a while
Okay.
to make. I think I was doing like 18-hour days to get it done in time
Wow.
because it was
Wow.
just had to get it done.
You were passionate and motivated, right?
And I think that's it. I think if it was any other job, I'd be like, no, I'm not doing this because I love what I do. I'm willing to put in those hours to get stuff done. So, yeah.
So what would you say inspires you to make these dresses?
Ooh.
Or who inspires you?
I think when I was younger, like I don't wear the hijab,
Mhm.
but I still struggle to find clothes that fit or that aren't too short, that aren't too revealing, or etc. etc. So when I think that was kind of like the spark. I was like, okay, I need to create something for women that they feel comfortable and beautiful in. But at the time when I first started, there wasn't a lot that catered for that. There's a few places, but they were just, I don't know, I found them very boring, very simple. So I was like, okay, I want to tap into it. So that was kind of, the spark that started it all. And because I thought, I want something that I want to wear, that I want to look nice in, that I feel comfortable in. And I found that a lot of other women, Muslim women, had that same struggle. So I thought, okay, I'll do it.
Lovely.
So yeah.
And then when you made your sister's wedding dress, what was the feedback?
Oh, it was so nice. I think everyone just loved it. And I think the main that she loved it. She felt comfortable with it. She really enjoyed it. That was the main part that made me happy. So yeah.
I'm guessing that was her wedding gift.
Oh yes, that's my part. You're done.
So coming back to the Queen of Queens.
Yes.
How did you get invited, or how did that happen?
So, Queen of Queens, when there was a project, there was like a fund that was open in Milton Keynes. I don't know if it's Milton Keynes. It was from MK Community Foundation via ACE.
Okay.
Or the other way around. And they were like, we have a Jubilee fund. So if you want to apply for the project idea, do it. But, okay. So me and Mum had a talk about it, and I was like, I want to do it, but I don't know what angle to go at it from. So we thought, okay, we can focus on the Queen, but I also want to focus on like my heritage and my background. So I wanted to to showcase that we have queens in the Middle East. So I did I did a whole well, I worked with the team. So I had my sister who did the interior design of the face and the infographics. We had Mum's friend Nuha who did the research. And then I did the designs and the dresses. So
You had 6 months to do them all?
No, we had 2 months. Again,
You keep it short.
yeah, I think because I was in Egypt, and then I got the fund. I got the we found out that I got the fund just beginning of Ramadan. I think that was that March? No, April. Beginning of April.
Okay.
And then the Jubilee was in June. So we had 2 months. Luckily I had help, but it was still chaotic. So we did like a timeline of all the queens from we found that the first ever queen in the world was in Mesopotamia, and her name was Kubaba.
Kubaba.
I was like, yes, sorted.
One for Arab.
I know. So I was like, okay. So I picked her as one of the queens, and also picked Hatshepsut from in ancient Egypt
Mhm.
as the other queen, and then we obviously did Queen Elizabeth. So it was
course.
like we did
Which Queen Elizabeth?
second,
The second. Okay,
because she was obviously was her jubilee.
of course.
So we did like
You
we
didn't do a fitting with her, did
Oh
you?
no, I wish I did.
That would have been
I
nice.
made her a case. It didn't need a fitting. We created a timeline of all the queens and from the Middle East, from Kubaba, which is like I don't know the date. It was very early on, up until present day. And like Queen Rania. And then we did like a synopsis of the queen's life. So what their achievements were during their reigns. And then I created a dress for each queen. So I did inspired by their time, but with a twist on like a modern twist to it.
Nice.
So I did a dress for Kubaba and a dress for Hatshepsut, and then I made a cape for the queen. So yeah, and I wish I would have gifted to her, but it was my time, passed away, sadly. But yeah.
How did that make you feel?
It was so much fun. I really, really enjoyed it. It was a really fun project, and I think it was nice. Oh, the other thing I did also, I didn't want it to be about royalty because I thought with royalty there's not much of hard work. You're just kind of born into it. So I also I did a segment called Queens of Their Professions. So the scientists, writers, singers, models, and I did a whole timeline of them too.
How many dresses did you make then?
No, it was just 3.
Okay.
But we did like a timeline of queens of the professions.
Okay.
So just to showcase that it's not just about the queens, it's about women who work hard and want to be who they want to be. Yeah.
And so where did you end up presenting these dresses?
So it was at the art gallery for the Jubilee weekend.
Okay.
And then we had it at the museum, MK Museum, for a month. I think that was February or March. And then that was 2023. And then it was at the library as well. So yeah, it had this like a bit of a tour around Milton Keynes, which is nice.
That's lovely. I mean, it must have been such a privilege to actually go through that journey.
Definitely. It was fun. It was really, really nice.
We would like to take a moment to tell you about our sponsors, Mainstay. Mainstay Foundation provides development aid, educational support, and faith-strengthening initiatives around the world. They support orphan children to ensure that their overall well-being is being met. By supporting an orphanage, we can ensure that the children have a nurturing environment to grow and evolve. As little as £30, you can provide an orphan with the tools to change their future. The link is in the bio.
So, what is the greatest failure that you've had that you've learned the most from? Because I'm sure there must be some dresses or things that you've had, experiences where it's directed you to think, you know what, I've learned a lot from this failure.
I think failures are part of life. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So I think you're not going to learn unless you make mistakes.
And this is, I mean,
Yeah.
personally, I personally believe that there is no such thing as failure.
No, exactly.
It's lessons. It's
Exactly.
lessons
Yeah,
learned.
that's exactly what it is.
And I use the word failure because it's what people relate to.
Yeah,
But I personally believe that, you know what, if we don't try, we don't know.
exactly.
So we've got to go in and we've got to have failures in our life, or not failures, we have to have lessons in our life
Definitely.
for us to be able to go into the next level, for us to
Absolutely.
be able to progress and learn and
For
become who
sure.
we want, who we become.
I can't think of one specific one, but I mean, there's lots of little ones on the way. So I think, but at the same time, I feel I think as we move through life, obviously you have the hindsight. So for me, I wish I'd started it earlier. So I wish I had done fashion for my undergrad and started that way. I think that would have been a better pathway.
Okay.
But at the same time, I feel as I'm in the right place at the right time. So I think even though I could have done fashion at school for my undergrad, I wouldn't have met the people that I would have met. I wouldn't have had those experiences. So I think it's meant to be this way.
So I know you're very this is so obvious and evident that you are a very positive person.
Oh yeah.
So what would you say has impacted that positivity? What belief or behavior in your life has impacted this positivity?
My mom and my dad, I think they're very like you can do anything. So with my mom, if I have a doubt myself, I think, can I do this? Yeah, you can do it. Let's just do it. So and there's no idea too big or too small that for us to achieve. So if when I was doing my exhibition, when I was doing my launch party for my fashion show, we did 12 dresses, and that was just completely chaotic. And
in 6 months' time.
yes,
Oh, okay, you had 6
we
months.
had
Oh,
6
you
months.
did have,
Thank God.
But 12 is still long. It's still a rush. So I think we're doing a dress a week
Oh wow.
because we had to get them out. So there was no other way. So that was kind of my aim, to kind of get everything on, on like a like a timeline.
Yeah.
So and I had to find models, and there was just a lot of coordinating and finding a venue and finding like I had an investor.
Okay.
So that came in handy, but it's just coordinating the music. And luckily I've got a really good network of family and friends that just jumped in and helped me. So we were doing the invites, we were finding models, we were finding makeup artists, finding hairstylists, all these little details that we had to think about and to make this machine work. So, and I think with that, Mum was a very driving force. She's like, no, we can do it. We'll do it. We can find it. So he's always been like my biggest supporter and always been like my backbone. So yeah.
So she's your biggest inspiration.
Absolutely. 100%.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
If you were to go back
Mm-hmm.
to one era of civilization, what would you pick and why?
I was really inspired by the research that we did for Mesopotamia.
Okay.
So that was really cool. And I think because I went to Egypt a couple of years ago. Yeah. And that was so amazing. We did the Nile cruise.
Okay.
And we went to all the different temples, and I thought, oh my God. So I'd love to go back to that time and just see what they were living like. And yeah, that was amazing. Yeah.
What was their dress code back then?
Very airy. Yeah. I think especially when we're looking at the Mesopotamia dress, I looked at that time, they use a lot of natural resources.
Okay.
So they would drape clothes around themselves, and they would use a lot of leaves in their work and their dressing. But actually, in the design that I made for for Kubaba, I incorporated like a wraparound dress, and then I actually hand painted leaves, like lace leaves, to go on the bodice.
Wow.
So yeah, that was really fun. So yeah, that's kind of like incorporating the past with the present.
That's amazing. And if you do go back in civilization, you do realize, I mean, we do see a lot of their fashion is actually quite nice.
Exactly, and the ancient Egypt had such cool. They were wearing such cool things. I think they had so much gold and so many colors, and it was really beautiful. Yeah.
Let's go back a little bit. From your university days,
Okay, which one?
when you were doing psychology,
Oh, yeah.
what made you think that this isn't for me, other than the dress making stuff? What didn't you like about it, or was there something that can you pinpoint? There was a lesson, or if there was something that really bugged you?
I liked the topic. I enjoyed learning about it, but it just wasn't my passion. So I couldn't see myself working in that. I thought about doing art therapy because I can involve art and psychology together.
Okay.
And I thought, okay, that's a path that I could take. But I just don't know. I've always gone back to fashion. That's like my,
Your
what I
go-to.
love. But yeah, exactly. And I remember, like, even when I was studying, if I was having a bad day, I'd just like spend an evening sketching. That was like my kind of haven.
So it's your true calling, really.
Absolutely. I'd definitely say so.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful.
Wow. And what kind of legacy would you think you want to leave with your artwork?
Hard.
It is hard.
I guess I just want I want women to feel represented, feel heard,
Mhm.
and I want them to feel comfortable in their own skin. So whatever they want to wear. So, yeah,
So you're promoting go out there and wear anything you want.
absolutely. But also, like, if you have faith, if you have faith, if yeah, just I think just be yourself and love yourself and be kind,
Kind to yourself.
kind yourself and others.
Of course.
Who is the one person
Mhm.
that deserves the greatest thanks? And if
One.
you were to thank them today,
Mm.
what would you say?
Mom and dad, they're both, but I mean, they've both been my biggest supporters, and my sister, to be fair. Like with my sister, I think especially during the launch of my business, she was so on it with me, and she was such a big supporter. But I think definitely mum, yeah. And I just say I love you, and I can't thank you enough.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
Mum has been mentioned quite a lot today.
Yes.
So it's it's
Start the
clear.
show.
That's lovely. That's absolutely wonderful. And she deserves it.
Absolutely.
She's been your backbone, like you said.
100%.
Rana, being a fashion designer,
Mhm.
is there a fashion designer today that you look at and you think, oh, I'm inspired by you? Like, in the Arab world, we're very lucky. We've got Ali Saab,
Yep.
Zuhair Murad,
Yes.
all their beautiful dresses,
Yep.
and you see them on the red carpet.
Mhm.
Is this something you look at and say, yeah, you inspire me?
Absolutely. I think since I was a teen, Elisab and Zuhair Murad have been like my favorites. And going back a bit further, I'd say Dior is
Mhm.
also one. And Alexander McQueen, even though it's a bit controversial,
Mm,
but he has some really cool stuff.
absolutely.
So yeah, those are my top four.
Would you ever dream of working with Ali Saab?
Ah, yes. I'd love that. I remember I found a fabric supplier that supplied to them, and I thought, oh, I could then reach, I could get to them. So yeah, and they're actually based in Italy, so maybe I can go to Italy.
I don't know, but as an Arab, I get so
Excited.
excited and proud when I hear somebody on the red carpet saying, I'm wearing Ali Saab, I'm
Yeah,
wearing Zuhair Murad. And I'm
absolutely.
thinking, yeah, they're ours,
Yeah, exactly. Definitely, 100%. Yeah.
And the thing is, as Arabs, we have a lot of talent.
We do.
Oh yes.
We have a lot of, regardless of if it's architecture or clothing or
Zuhair
We're-
Hadid.
Zaha
exactly,
Hadid,
she's one of the world renowned,
Absolutely.
and there's a lot to be proud of as Iraqis. What would you classify yourself as? Are you British Iraqi, Iraqi British?
It's hard to say. I'd probably say Iraq. I think because I grew up most of my life here, but I'm very, very grounded in my Iraqi roots. So as much as I am British, I am also very Iraqi, and I'm very proud to be Iraqi. But at the same time, I think when I go home, I'm seen as the British. When I'm here, you're not English or Iraqi. So having to manage those two things, you're never good enough for either. I don't feel.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, but I'd say I'm very proud to be Iraqi.
Have you been back recently?
Last I went was 2017.
You must have seen the changes from
It was very different.
after the war.
And I think it was a hard time because both of my grandmas were sick.
Oh, sorry.
So it was just kind of like jumping from house to house, making sure everyone was okay. But mum and dad have been back since then, and they've enjoyed it more. Seeing family and cousins and stuff like that.
Will you go?
I want to go soon.
Yeah.
I think I need to introduce the hubby to the family.
Oh,
They've not
yes.
seen him yet, so that'd be nice. But I think he's never been to Iraq either.
Has he not?
No, he's been to Iran, but not
Okay.
Iraq.
Interesting.
So yeah,
What part of Iraq would you most
wanna
like
see
to show him?
Baghdad. Yeah, definitely. And actually, I've not really been. I want to go to Kurdistan, like the Kurdish areas.
Yeah.
Because I've had they're really beautiful.
Slemani. I
Yeah.
went to Slemani last year. Beautiful.
Really, yeah. See,
Absolutely.
I really want to go
beautiful.
there. And
their dress sense completely different to
really
Baghdad.
interesting.
Yeah, so they've got obviously the traditional Kurdish
Oh yeah,
clothing.
definitely. Oh yeah, of course.
and they're so proud of it. They wear it
I
out
know.
wherever they're
I've
going.
got a Kurdish friend. She loves her dress. It's really cool. Really nice to see. But I also, actually, he's from Basra. He's never been.
Oh,
So I'd love to
interesting.
take him there. 'Cause my dad lived there for a few years as well. So it'd be nice to
Okay.
kind of I've never seen it either. So it'd be nice to kind of experience it together.
That's
Hmm.
fantastic.
Maybe we should all make a trip there.
That would be great. I've been seeing all these tours around Iraq,
Yes.
and
Yes.
I really want to go on one of them. They look
Mm.
really cool. But yes,
Yeah, my dream is to do the marshes.
yes, definitely. Yes.
Yeah, the
absolutely.
marshes is something that I haven't seen yet, but yet
Yes.
it
Yeah,
will
It's on the
will
bucket
happen.
list.
It's
Yeah.
100%
It's on the bucket list. Yeah.
Inshallah.
I mean, Iraq has changed so
So much.
much.
Absolutely.
And on a regular basis, I mean, the people that I've got a few friends who've already moved out there,
Mm-mm.
and they say Iraq is one of the fastest changing environments, and it's becoming so modern so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you go back to during Saddam's time, they were always about 10 or 15 years behind us in design and fashion and everything. I mean, I remember going back in 99, maybe 2000,
Okay.
and one of my uncles at the time was like, "Oh, can you get me kickers?"
Oh, okay.
And it was like, "Oh, it's just gone out of fashion over here. I don't know where I'm going to find them."
Delayed.
Yeah, it's delayed, and it was just going into fashion over there. So it was just
I actually remember when I went back in 2017. Yeah, they had the latest things.
Mhm.
It was really. They had the latest phones, latest washing machines. I was like, interesting. Okay, you've caught up. But yeah.
yeah, the internet it caught them up so quickly, and they
Absolutely.
love the internet. They love
yeah.
technology.
Who doesn't?
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Would you take your fashion there, do you think?
I'd love to.
Mm.
I have been explore. I've been in. When my mum went in February, she went back, and she was looking at different. So she was like, "Well, you could. If you're really good, if you go there and just sell your stuff there." And I thought, it's something that I want to look into, and just I think also I want to look into doing that in Dubai.
Okay.
So I'm gonna feel out,
Mm.
see if there's anything in the market for me there.
Maybe you can have one of your exhibitions in Baghdad.
That would be great. Has to be in Arabic though. Translate it all, but that's fine. That should be doable.
You know, everyone speaks English over there.
True. That is very true.
English is like a second language, I think, for them.
Yeah,
Probably.
I mean, I went out there to run a course out there, and everyone like, yeah, speak English is fine. I mean, you've got the occasional people,
Yeah.
one or two people that just don't speak it
Yeah,
at
yeah.
all. But they normally still go to these exhibitions, and they walk around with translators.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so they walk around
Interesting.
with their own translators, and people are communicating through translators, and they're so used to it; it's second nature to
Right.
them
I didn't know
because
that.
they've had to adapt.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
you know,
God,
to
yeah.
fit into the world, and because they're emerging so quickly, it's phenomenal how quickly things change. I mean,
Yeah.
on the flight back, I was on the flight with a Chinese person. I was like, oh,
What are you doing
interesting.
here?
And I was like, oh, yeah. And then he just turned around. He goes, yeah, we're looking to make some deals. And I was like, oh, that's fascinating. You know, it's just
Interesting.
so many different cultures there. I think there was an American person sat there, and it was just so nice to see how multicultural Iraq has
Absolutely.
become and how inclusive
really
it's
great.
become.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
it's
it is. It's
beautiful.
lovely. I think there is a lot of opportunities, especially for you, Rana.
Yeah, I can imagine so.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'd like to see an
Definitely
exhibition
something
there.
I want to explore. Definitely.
Mm.
When was the last time you guys went back?
Oh, when did I go? Oh, I went in December.
Okay.
That was my first ever time.
Oh my God. How was
Yeah,
that?
It was amazing. I honestly, beyond my expectation. People are so lovely. The
Oh, yeah.
food is amazing.
The food.
The country's beautiful. Right
And now it's so easy to get food. Like before, when I went back, I was so surprised. They can literally go to the shop, pick up dolma and bring it home. And I was like, Okay.
You can have dolma on the street.
Literally.
Yes.
Like, oh my god.
Dolma, falafel, street food. You know, and
Anything.
just
It's
like,
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, spending like the evenings in Al Mutanabbi.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
was an
yes.
experience in itself.
Mum loves it there.
Absolutely.
We didn't get a chance to go there last time. But we went in 2003 and that was really nice.
Yeah, I took my daughters to the Monetic.
Did
We
you?
done the evening tour.
Yes.
So
the
most of
evening
the
is the best.
so most of the bookshops have been closed by
Yeah.
that time.
Yeah.
But there's so much culture there. The buildings and the classic style of the buildings. And now they've cleaned them all up.
Really?
So they've jet washed them or sanded them all down, so it just looks sparkling.
Oh, wow.
And even I think there was a restaurant that everyone goes to, that coffee shop.
Yeah, Shabandar.
That's it. And it had there was a humongous explosion there a few years ago.
Okay.
And unfortunately, a couple of the sons had passed away from the owner. But the next generation stepped in and they brought back everything, so it became exactly
my
the same
God.
it was. You know, they brought back the same furniture and they
Really?
rebuilt it, and it looks beautiful, and it's modern. And but then you still see those benches of you know what we see in the films and the
Yeah.
movies,
Yeah.
the benches of people just sitting down having their coffees and discussions, and you know they're knowledgeable discussions as well.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
Wow.
Yeah, there's live music on the street.
Yeah,
It's just such a
I've seen
lovely
videos of
atmosphere.
it.
Yeah.
A lot safer now, actually. Recently, not so much. But yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I felt really safe out there. I didn't. Growing up here, thinking Iraq is never safe. Iraq, you know, your parents tell you Saddam's time, and then you know you hear stories the 70s and the 60s how beautiful it was and how you know.
I wish we lived in that time.
Right?
To see it.
I would have loved to, because you hear about it and then what we see on the news growing up.
So different.
No, are you serious? And then going and experiencing, actually, I can see both. Because there are streets that you can drive and you can see bullet holes in
Yeah.
the buildings.
Yes.
And it's heartbreaking. But then you go to the other side of the city and you see the beauty.
The
That's
new area, the
it's
new built
absolutely
area, yeah.
gorgeous. Yeah.
And the
true.
buildings are growing so quickly, so fast.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I mean, the new bank building designed by
Zaha Hadid.
Zaha Hadid,
Yeah.
the ministry, the wealth ministry, I think it's called.
Okay.
Beautiful
Wow.
building, and it's sort of like a cone shape going upwards. It's fantastic.
Interesting.
Yeah, and her designers and her students are there monitoring the building, and it's just
love
so
that.
it's her legacy continues.
That's good. I'm
Her
glad.
legacy does continue. One question I want to ask.
Mhm.
It was asked by our last person.
Ooh.
What we do is we have a question from the last speaker to the next one.
Right.
So the question for you is,
Mhm.
what is your unfair advantage?
Advantage. I'd say I'm very stubborn and I don't give up easily. So I feel like my stubbornness is my superpower. So I don't want to challenge it too good. Other people. So yeah, I think it's my driver. That's my friend. Well, yes, I can say that.
That's lovely.
That's lovely. And so, if you were to share with our viewers
Mm-hmm.
3 designers, and I know we talked about Zohair Zohair Murad, and Ali Saab, who would you recommend? What 3 designers would you recommend?
Obviously, not counting yourself.
Oh, damn it.
We can. Oh, you can.
No, that's a bit too big headed.
It's knowing your worth.
True. I would say I have 4. Zohair Murad, Elisab, Dior, and Alexander McQueen. They're my top favorites.
Alexander McQueen, yes.
I went to the exhibition, it was amazing. So that was really like inspiring.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh. And your life motto?
My life motto. Positive. Just be positive. I think if I feel like if you focus on negative things, you're only going to get negative outcomes. So if you keep a positive and loving focus, then I think everything will fall into place.
I concur.
100%. Now,
Absolutely.
you don't know who our next person,
Oh no.
Next guest.
our next guest.
Mm-hmm.
What question would you like to ask them?
What is no? Hold on. If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
Oh, I do like that one.
That's a fantastic question.
Yeah, that's absolutely lovely. Can I ask you something, Rana?
Yes.
If you were not the one making your dress, who would you have liked to make your dress?
Oh,
Your wedding dress?
I think so. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I think I'd like to have some input. But yeah, he can make it for me.
Oh, it sounds like a struggle there. You don't want to give it up.
I know what I like. But yes.
Would you allow him to design it for you at least?
I design it, he can make it. No. No, he can make it. Again, my stubbornness that comes out.
Well, it's worked for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For our viewers,
Mhm.
where can they find your work?
So, Rana Jawad Fashion on Instagram and Facebook.
Mm.
And my website as well. All there too.
Do you have anything coming up? Any exhibitions? Anything new?
Right now, things are a bit quiet. I think I've
Okay.
been a very busy year.
Mm.
I do want to apply for more funding to do the next phase of my project.
Okay.
So I'd like to get some male input on the topic of
Mhm.
modesty. Kind of do like conversations between women and men about
Okay.
the topic and see how they interact with the conversation. And I would like to create the rest of the collection. So I've made one of the pieces of the collection. I want to make the rest of the collection. Yeah, that's kind of the next.
Hmm.
Oh,
I look forward to the next exhibition.
Thank
I'm
you.
guessing we're getting an invite.
Of
Oh,
course
we are.
100%.
We'll be there. You want a discussion? We'll have a discussion.
Absolutely.
100%. I mean, I'm extremely proud to have seen your work. I've been following your work, and I've gone through, I think, from your Instagram from 2017 all the way to today, and you have done some phenomenal pieces and some
you.
beautiful work. So you know, knowing that you're an Iraqi person that's done this, I'm extremely proud.
Yeah.
That's
So
nice.
congratulations
Thank
and
you
well
so
done
much.
for everything that you've done.
Yeah, well done, Rana.
Pleasure.
We just love looking at your work. There's one that I'm really inspired by at the moment, and I had to tell you.
Which?
It's the one with the Palestinian flag and the...
Oh, yes. I want to create that one. I haven't got around to doing that yet. But I definitely want to create it.
The drawing, the design, it's absolutely stunning.
thank
and I can't wait
you.
to see it.
Actually, that's a good point. I would like to make that one. I've got to figure out how to make it. But yes, I could do like the embroidery myself, but it's going to take a while. Yeah, we'll see.
Side hustle.
Yeah, exactly.
Well
yeah.
done. Well, thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us
Thank you for having me.
today.
It's been really fun.
Thank you.
It's been fun having you.
Good.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.